Okay, so today we want to go over laying out for the handle on our cutting board. This, of course, is where we're going to be at and what we want to do eventually. And, of course, we are starting out with just our regular board where that needs to be drawn on. Well, now, one of the reasons for doing this, of course, is because we want to lay out for our hole patterns, because we're going to first drill holes into our handle. So I'm going to show you today how we are going to go ahead and lay this out. Now, the actual handle, so we can get a nice grip on here, measures 1 inch wide by 5 inches long in this groove and cutout that we're going to make. And of course, it's 1 inch from this edge. So first thing we're going to do is make a couple of tick marks. So we're going to lay our rule right down here along the edge, and we're going to make a tick mark at 1 inch and a tick mark at 2 inch. Now this is part for the handle here, and this between 1 inch and 2 inch is going to be the part that we cut out. Now that's not enough for us. We also need to know what the center line is, which of course if we take 2 inches minus 1 inch, or we need to find that that is half an inch, so half an inch is the center line between 1 inch and 2 inch, so right there at 1.5. And then we're going to bring our combination square over, so put my combination square right up against the edge of the board there, and I'm just going to real quick scribe 3 lines across there at each of my tick marks. Now, there we go. So I got those 3 lines at my tick marks. If you recall, we're using a 1x8 board. Now, a 1x8 board actually measures, as we put this back over here, actually measures at 7 1/4 inches long. And I want a 5 inch long groove. So the first thing I have to do is do some subtraction here. So 7 1/4 minus 5 leaves me with 2 1/4. Now, if I started right over here with my cut, that 2 1/4 inches left over on the side. But obviously we don't want to cut and remove all of this. We want this handle to be centered equally and have the equal amount of wood on both sides. So now we've got to take that 2 1/4 and divide it in half. In order to do that, we're going to take the 2 and split that in half. That is 1. And then we need to also come up with half of 1/4. Well, the easiest way for me to figure out what half of a fraction is to just double both the numerator and the denominator. So I'll take 1/4 and I'll double both to become 2/8 when they're both doubled, and then I take and subtract 1 from the numerator, which gives me 1/8. So half of 2 1/4, now I add this 1/8 back to the 1. Half of 2 1/4 is 1 1/8. Again, real quick, double your fraction and subtract 1 from the numerator to get you your half of a fraction. Let's try that again. If I have 5/8 is my fraction, and I want to know what half of 5/8 is, all I have to do is double both. That gives me 10/16. Subtract 1 from the numerator, which means 9/16 is half of 5/8. 9/16 would be half of 5/8. So that's just a real quick tip on how to get half of a fraction real easy. So 1 1/8 is going to be my measurement on both sides. So I'm going to put my rule back over there on the edge. I'm going to make my tick mark at 1 1/8. Turn it over, do it the same way on this side, and 1 1/8. Now, moving my board and my combination square over, here we go. I'm going to scribe my lines here, going back and forth, making sure this is square, and my slot or groove is going to fit right between here and here. And that's going to give me a 5 inch long place. But now I need to know exactly where I'm going to drill those holes at. So, well, if we take 1 inch is the width of our slot, and we look at that as the diameter of the drill. Well, in order to determine where the center of that drill, I need to guess. And the radius of a 1 inch diameter is a half an inch. So I'm going to mark 1/2 inch back from here now, and I'm going to take 1/2 inch from here. So that's where my first 2 holes are going to be drilled at. One right here and one right here. And of course, just to take the rest, I'll now move this over, and I'm going to make a tick mark at every 1 inch. So now I have the location for all 5 of those holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's where I'll go over to the drill press now and drill out those holes.